I never thought a funeral could feel like a game show, but that's exactly how Grandpa's funeral felt. Everyone dressed in black, but everyone's eyes were shining like they were waiting to win a prize. My cousins sat in the front row, whispering and smiling, like they already knew they were getting something big. Love revenge stories? Subscribe now. We drop new ones every week, raw, emotional, and full of justice. Don't miss the next chapter. When the lawyer opened Grandpa's will, the room went silent. Then everything changed. He started reading out gifts. A beach house for my cousin Matt. $3 million for my cousin Julia. 2 cars and a condo for my cousin Ryan. Everyone clapped like it was a birthday party instead of a funeral. Then the lawyer looked at me. "To my grandson, Brian Jason," he said, "I leave this." He handed me an envelope. Inside was a single plane ticket to a town I had never heard of. No money. No house. No car. Just a plane ticket. My cousins tried to hide their laughs, but I heard them anyway. "That's all he gets," Matt whispered. "Maybe Grandpa didn't like him," Julia giggled. I felt my face get hot. I didn't understand any of it. Then the lawyer leaned close to me and whispered 6 words. "Go there. She will explain everything." I kept hearing those 6 words in my head as I walked out of the funeral home. Go there. She will explain everything. Who was she? And why did Grandpa trust her more than me? My cousins walked past me with their fancy envelopes full of money and keys to houses. Matt smirked at me like he had won some kind of contest. "Enjoy your plane ticket, Brian," he said. "Maybe you can frame it." Julia added, "Don't forget to send us a postcard from wherever you're going, land." I didn't answer them. I just held the ticket tighter. The town's name on it looked strange, like something from a storybook. I tried saying it out loud, but it didn't sound familiar at all. When Mom and I got to the car, she kept staring at the ticket too. "Your grandfather was always mysterious," she said softly. "Maybe he wanted you to discover something." I doubted it. Grandpa and I weren't even very close. He never talked about secret towns or strange women who would explain everything. But those 6 words wouldn't leave my mind. They felt heavy, important, almost like a clue. That night, I sat on my bed, staring at the plane ticket. Whatever waited for me there? Grandpa wanted me to find it. The next morning, I woke up early and looked at the plane ticket again. The town's name was printed in bold letters, Ravenbrook. I had never heard of it. It didn't sound like a vacation spot or a big city. It sounded more like a place where secrets hid in the trees. I searched it online, but almost nothing came up. No pictures. No hotels. Just a small dot on a map far from everything else. That made me even more curious, and a little nervous. Mom knocked on my door and walked in. "Are you really going?" she asked. "I have to," I answered. "Grandpa wanted me to." She nodded slowly. "Then be careful. If someone there knows more about him than we do, listen closely." Her words made my stomach twist. How could a stranger know Grandpa better than his own family? When we got to the airport, my cousins were already posting pictures of their new houses and cars online. My phone buzzed with their messages. "Ryan, have fun in Nowhere Town." "Julia, tell us if you find any cows or dirt roads." "Matt, maybe she is your new babysitter." I turned off my phone. Ravenbrook waited for me. And so did she, whoever she was. When the plane landed in Ravenbrook, the air felt colder and sharper than back home. The airport was tiny, only 2 gates and a single vending machine that hummed loudly. I didn't see anyone who looked like they were waiting for me. I walked outside with my suitcase, not sure what to do next. There were no taxis, no buses, not even a sign with my name on it. I started to wonder if Grandpa's message was just some strange joke. Then I saw her. A girl around my age stood near a wooden bench, holding a folded piece of paper. She had dark hair tied in a messy ponytail and wore a red jacket that looked too big for her. When she saw me, she walked straight over like she already knew who I was. "You're Brian Jason," she said. It wasn't a question. "Yes. How did you know?" She held out the paper. "Your grandfather told me you'd come. He said I should help you." My heart nearly stopped. You knew my grandpa? She nodded. Better than most people did. I didn't know what to say. This girl, this total stranger, knew more about Grandpa than I ever had. My name is Anna, she said. And your story starts now. Anna led me to a small bench outside the airport. She sat down and opened the folded paper she had been carrying. It wasn't just a note, it was an envelope with my name written on it in Grandpa's handwriting. My chest tightened when I saw it. He gave this to me months ago, Anna said quietly. He said I had to keep it safe until you arrived. My hands shook a little as I opened the envelope. Inside was a short letter, written in Grandpa's neat, old-fashioned style. Brian, if you're reading this, then the others already took the bait. Trust Anna. Follow the path. Don't turn back. Grandpa. That was it. No explanations. No clues. Just confusing lines that made my head spin. Why did he trust you? I asked Anna. She looked down at her shoes. Because I owed him. He helped me when no one else would. What does that mean? Anna didn't answer right away. Instead, she stood up. There's more you need to see. He left something else for you. My heart beat faster. Where? She pointed toward the road leading out of the airport. In the place he visited every year, she said. The old cabin in the woods. The road to the woods looked like something from a storybook. Tall trees, thick fog, and quiet air that felt almost heavy. As we walked, my mind kept spinning. Grandpa came here every year. Why hadn't he told anyone? Why hadn't he told me? Anna led the way like she had done it 100 times. Your grandfather wasn't the man people thought he was, she said. What do you mean? I asked. She stopped and looked back at me. Everyone saw him as a rich old man who kept to himself. But here, he was different. Kinder. Braver. Braver. That didn't sound like the grandpa I knew. My grandpa liked crossword puzzles, mint tea, and quiet afternoons. Not adventure. What did he do here? I asked. Anna pushed a branch aside as we reached a narrow trail. He helped people. People the world forgot. People who were hurt or mistreated. Even people running from danger. I stared at her. Why would he do that? She gave me a small, sad smile. Because someone once saved him. So he wanted to save others. Before I could ask more, she pointed ahead. There, she said. That's the cabin. My heart pounded. Grandpa had lived a whole secret life. And I was about to discover it. The cabin was small, old, and covered in ivy, but something about it felt alive, like it had been waiting for me. The door creaked as Anna pushed it open. Dust hung in the air, and sunlight came through cracks in the roof. Old furniture and boxes filled the room. Grandpa had left so much behind. Here's where he kept the important things, Anna said. She pulled out a wooden drawer, locked with a tiny brass padlock. But there's something missing. I frowned. Missing? What do you mean? Anna's eyes were serious. Grandpa had a map. A map that shows where he hid his real treasures and secrets. It's gone. Gone. I said, my stomach sinking. Who would take it? That's why he sent you here, she said. He knew someone would try to get it. And you're the only one he trusted to find it. I looked around. Every box, every old photograph. What could be so important that someone would steal a map? I didn't know, but I felt a mix of fear and excitement. Grandpa had hidden something big, and somehow I had to find it before anyone else did. Anna gave me a firm look. Ready to start looking? She asked. I nodded. Let's do it. We hadn't searched long before we heard a car crunching on the gravel road. I peeked through the window and froze. 3 sleek black SUVs pulled up, dust swirling in the air. And in front stepped my cousins. Matt, Julia, and Ryan. The same ones who had laughed at me at the funeral. Only now, they weren't laughing, they looked angry. Determined. Dangerous. What are they doing here? I whispered to Anna. They heard you were coming, she said. They want whatever Grandpa left behind. And they won't stop for anything. I swallowed hard. I had imagined being the only one following Grandpa's clues. I hadn't imagined a showdown with my greedy cousins in a secret cabin in the woods. Matt kicked the cabin door lightly. "Looks empty," he said, smirking. "Hope you didn't find anything, Brian." Julia crossed her arms. "Maybe Grandpa finally realized you're useless." Ryan laughed. "Good luck with your little treasure hunt, cousin. We're taking everything he really wanted us to have anyway." I clenched my fists. The plane ticket, the trip, Anna, all of it had led to this moment. Grandpa's secret wasn't just a mystery anymore. It was a battlefield. And I wasn't about to lose. Anna's eyes burned with anger as she watched my cousins circle the cabin like predators. I had never seen her like this before. Quiet, calm, and suddenly full of fire. "They think they can take everything," she snapped. "After what he did for us." I hesitated. "Us." She pointed at herself and me. "Grandpa trusted you, Brian. And he trusted me to protect what's his. They have no right." Matt laughed loudly. "Protect it? You mean that stupid little cabin?" Anna's voice cut through the laughter. "This cabin is more valuable than all your houses and cars combined. And if you touch a single thing inside, I swear." I had to grab her arm. "Anna, calm down. We don't know what they'll do." She took a deep breath, her jaw tight. "I know. But I've waited years to see someone like me finally stand up to them." Her words shocked me. For so long, I had felt weak, like a kid who never belonged. But now, with Anna's fire next to mine, I felt something shift inside me. Grandpa's secrets weren't just about treasure. They were about courage. And Anna was ready to fight. Anna grabbed a flashlight from her bag, and we slipped out the back of the cabin. Behind the overgrown bushes stood a small shed Grandpa had built decades ago. Its wood was gray and cracked, the roof sagging, but something about it called to me. "This is where he kept his most important things," Anna whispered. I nodded, my heart racing. Every step on the creaky boards made me feel closer to Grandpa, closer to the secret he had trusted me to find. We pushed the door open, and dust swirled around us. Inside were boxes stacked haphazardly, old furniture, and shelves filled with jars of dried herbs and tools I didn't recognize. Anna knelt by a box near the corner. "Look for anything with numbers or symbols," she said. "Grandpa always marked things like that." I started digging through the boxes. Every item felt like a piece of a puzzle. Old letters, photographs of strangers, maps that led nowhere. Suddenly, I found a small metal box, locked tight. My fingers traced the engraved initials, R.W. "This must be it," I said, heart pounding. Anna smiled. "Finally. Grandpa knew you could find it." The hunt was only beginning, but now we had a lead. The small metal box felt heavier than it looked. Grandpa's initials, R.W., were engraved on top, worn smooth from years of handling. I held it carefully, as if it might explode with secrets. Anna knelt beside me. "This is it," she said softly. "Whatever Grandpa wanted you to find is inside." I shook it gently. It rattled, but I couldn't see what was inside. There was a tiny keyhole, but no key in sight. "How do we open it?" I asked. Anna smiled, a little mischievously. "Grandpa left a code. We have to figure it out." I stared at the box, then at her. "A code? What kind of code?" "Numbers, symbols, letters. He loved puzzles," she explained. "If he sent you here, he trusted you could solve it." I took a deep breath. All the letters, the plane ticket, the hidden cabin, it was like Grandpa had built a game just for me. We spent hours examining the box. Scratches, dents, tiny marks, everything seemed meaningless, yet somehow important. Finally, I noticed a faint engraving along the side, "Trust Anna." I looked at her, confused. "Me?" I asked. She nodded. "I think this is where I come in." Grandpa's secret was testing us both. I stared at Anna, unsure what she meant. "How can you help me open it?" I asked. She bent closer to the box, her fingers tracing the engravings. "Grandpa always left hints in the most obvious places. Look at the numbers on your plane ticket." I pulled the ticket from my pocket. The numbers were printed clearly, Ravenbrook Flight 248, Seat 17B, October 15th. Nothing seemed useful at first. Anna pointed at the metal box. Notice anything strange about the scratches? I squinted. Tiny numbers were etched along the edge. 2, 4, 8. My stomach jumped. That matched part of the ticket. This has to be it, I whispered. But what about the rest? Anna smiled. Grandpa always liked patterns. Maybe the last number comes from the day you arrived. I thought quickly. I had landed on October 15th. Could it be the 15? I pressed the numbers into the small lock. 2, 4, 8, 15. The metal clicked. The box opened. Inside were letters, photos, and a small leather-bound journal. I picked up the journal, feeling Grandpa's presence stronger than ever. Anna leaned closer. This is only the beginning, Brian. Are you ready? I nodded. I'm ready. I opened the leather-bound journal carefully. The pages smelled old, a mixture of dust and cedar. Grandpa's handwriting filled every line, precise and neat. Anna peered over my shoulder. Read it aloud. He always liked sharing his stories. I cleared my throat and started. The first entry was dated 1947. Today I arrived in Ravenbrook. A new life awaits, full of challenges and choices. I must be careful. Trust is earned, not given. I looked at Anna. He came here when he was my age. She nodded. And he stayed for years, helping people no one else would. The next entries were filled with stories of people Grandpa had helped, letters he had written but never sent, and sketches of places I didn't recognize. Each page made him feel more alive than he had in America. Then I found a note in the back, written in a different color ink. Brian, if you're reading this, the others have taken the wrong path. Only you can continue what I started. Trust Anna. Follow the vineyard. I looked up at her. Follow the vineyard. She smiled. Grandpa left you a real inheritance, Brian. Not money, but purpose. My hands shook. I had no idea how true that would become. Anna pointed to the last page of the journal. Folded carefully inside was a yellowed piece of paper, a map. I unfolded it slowly. Lines crisscrossed the page, leading to different places in Ravenbrook. One marked spot stood out, a small vineyard at the edge of town. This must be it, I whispered. The place Grandpa wanted me to find. Anna nodded. He wrote about it in the journal. Said it was the heart of everything he built here. Whoever gets there first controls the secret. I looked at her. The secret? You mean the treasure? She shook her head. Not money. Something bigger. Something real. Grandpa wanted to make sure only the right person could continue it. My cousins could still be a problem. They might follow us if they realized we were close to the vineyard. I folded the map carefully and slipped it into my pocket. We need to go now, I said, my voice firm. Anna smiled, her eyes shining. I thought you'd never say that. The wind rustled through the trees as we stepped outside the cabin. Whatever Grandpa left for me, it was waiting. And now, Brian Jason wasn't just a visitor in Ravenbrook. I was part of his game. The trail to the vineyard was narrow and overgrown, almost like no one had walked there in years. I held the map tightly, Anna beside me, moving carefully over the roots and fallen branches. This path, it feels alive, I whispered. Anna glanced at me. Grandpa wanted it that way. Only someone who pays attention, who listens, can reach the vineyard. I shivered, not from the cold, but from the feeling of being part of something bigger than myself. Every step seemed to echo with Grandpa's presence. Suddenly, a crow cawed loudly from a nearby tree. I jumped. Anna laughed softly. Don't be scared. That's just him saying, you're on the right path. I blinked. Did she really mean that? Or was it just her way of keeping me calm? As we neared the edge of the forest, the trees opened up, and I caught my first glimpse of the vineyard. Rows of green vines stretched toward the horizon, bathed in sunlight. I felt my heart swell. This was real. Grandpa had built something amazing here. Anna looked at me with a serious expression. Brian, the vineyard is just the start. What's inside it will change everything. I nodded, ready for whatever came next. We reached the vineyard, and the sight took my breath away. Rows of grapes stretched out in perfect lines, the sun reflecting off the leaves. But Grandpa had warned us, the secret wasn't obvious. Anna pulled out the journal again. He left instructions hidden here, in plain sight. Look closely. I examined the rows of vines. At first, everything seemed normal, but then I noticed it. Small markers at the ends of certain rows. Numbers were carved into the wooden stakes, letters scratched on the soil. Coordinates? I asked. Or a code, Anna said. Grandpa loved codes. We started following the markers. Step by step, they led us to an old stone fountain in the center of the vineyard. The fountain was dry, covered in moss. Anna bent down and ran her hand along the base. See these symbols? They matched the journal entry from 1952. He called it the Puzzle of Patience. I knelt beside her. Puzzle of Patience. She nodded. He meant you'd have to think carefully. Only someone who waits and observes could unlock it. I glanced around the vineyard. The game was bigger than I imagined, and Grandpa had made sure only the right person could win. I swallowed hard. Let's solve it. The old fountain stood silent, its stone cracked and covered in moss. Anna pointed to the carved symbols at the base. Grandpa said the key would be hidden where water once flowed. I ran my fingers along the stone. Letters, numbers, tiny scratches. I couldn't make sense of them at first. Anna bent closer, whispering, "Think about the journal entries. What did he always say about patience?" I remembered Grandpa's words, "The best moves are the ones your opponent never sees coming." I studied the fountain carefully, tapping the stone gently. My hand paused on a loose brick. I pressed it, and the fountain made a soft grinding sound. A small compartment opened at the base, revealing a rusty iron key. Anna's eyes widened. "You found it." I held the key tightly, feeling the weight of Grandpa's trust. "But what does it open?" Anna shook her head. "That's the next part of the puzzle." Grandpa never gave the answer directly. He always made people think, test their patience. I glanced around the vineyard, imagining Grandpa wandering these rows years ago, hiding secrets in plain sight. Whatever the key unlocked, I knew one thing. Grandpa's game was far from over, and I was ready to follow it, no matter where it led. Holding the rusty key in my hand, I scanned the vineyard. Rows of grapes stretched endlessly, but Anna's sharp eyes spotted something I missed, a stone wall partially hidden by ivy. "Look there," she whispered, pointing. "See the seam in the wall?" I walked closer. The seam was faint, almost invisible. My heart pounded as I inserted the key into a small, hidden keyhole. It fit perfectly. With a click, the wall shifted slightly, revealing a narrow doorway. A musty scent escaped, and I could see stone steps winding downward into darkness. "Grandpa really went all out," I muttered. Anna smiled, her excitement barely contained. "This is it. Whatever he wanted to protect. It's down there." I swallowed hard. The darkness looked endless, but I couldn't turn back now. Grandpa had trusted me to follow his game, to discover what others couldn't. "Ready?" Anna asked, her hand on the wall for support. I nodded. "Ready." We stepped inside together. The air was cool, damp, and smelled of earth and old stone. Every step echoed through the hidden passage. The real secret wasn't the vineyard. It was what Grandpa had hidden beneath it. And we were about to find out. The narrow steps led us down into complete darkness. I could feel the cool stone walls closing in as we moved deeper, Anna's hand gripping mine for guidance. Every echo of our footsteps seemed louder, like the past itself was listening. At last, we reached the bottom. A heavy iron door blocked the passage, covered in dust and cobwebs. Rusty hinges hinted it hadn't been opened in decades. Anna pointed to the key in my hand. "This is it. Grandpa wouldn't give us anything easy." I inserted the key, holding my breath. The lock clicked, and the door creaked open slowly. A faint golden glow spilled out, illuminating rows of shelves filled with old boxes, ledgers, and chests. I stepped inside, overwhelmed. Grandpa had built a vault under the vineyard, full of secrets, documents, and treasures. Anna ran her fingers over the boxes. This is more than money, Brian. He left a legacy, a life he wanted someone to continue. I opened one of the chests. Inside were letters, certificates, and photographs of Grandpa helping people across the world, even before I was born. I looked at Anna, eyes wide. This is real. Grandpa's secret isn't just here, it's everything he ever cared about. We had found the vault. The game was finally in our hands. The vault was filled with more than just old papers and ledgers. On a wooden table, a neatly folded envelope caught my eye. Grandpa's handwriting covered the front. "Brian, your turn." I tore it open. Inside was a letter, thick and carefully written. "Brian, if you're reading this, you've found the vault. This is my life's work. More than money, more than business. It's about trust, courage, and understanding. The others only saw wealth. You, my grandson, see purpose. Continue what I began. Protect it. Grow it. And remember, the smallest choices often carry the greatest consequences." Anna leaned over my shoulder, whispering, "This is it." I felt tears prick my eyes. I had never felt so connected to him, even though he was gone. All the plane tickets, the puzzles, the vineyard, every step led here. Anna smiled. "You understand now, don't you? This is the real inheritance. Not money, not titles. Responsibility, knowledge, and a chance to do something meaningful." I nodded, feeling the weight of Grandpa's trust settle on my shoulders. For the first time, I realized the game was over. And I had won. We had barely left the vault when my phone buzzed. It was Preston. "Brian," he said, voice tight, almost pleading. We need your help. Everything's falling apart. The company, the finances, it's a disaster." I glanced at Anna. She gave a small nod. It was time to confront the people who had laughed at me. "Meet me at the cabin," I replied. "All of you." When they arrived, their faces were pale, their arrogance gone. Mallory's designer sunglasses couldn't hide her fear. Vernon and Beatrice shifted nervously, like cornered animals. I stood tall, holding Grandpa's journal in one hand. "You wanted his wealth," I said, voice steady. "You wanted what you thought mattered. But you ignored the real inheritance, trust, purpose, responsibility." Preston swallowed hard. We didn't know." Anna stepped forward. "You laughed at Brian when he got a plane ticket. But he found what you couldn't even see, Grandpa's real legacy." I held the journal high. "This isn't just a story of money. It's a story of choices. And now, you get to see the consequences of yours." For the first time, I felt no fear. The cousins had underestimated me. And that was their mistake. Preston hung his head, guilt written across his face. Mallory's eyes darted nervously, while Vernon and Beatrice avoided mine entirely. Anna whispered, "This is your chance to show them what Grandpa meant by trust." I took a deep breath. "I won't let you destroy what Grandpa built. But I also won't punish those who are willing to learn." Preston stepped forward first. "I'll do anything to make this right, Brian. Please, let me help with the vineyard. I know I don't deserve it, but I want to try." Mallory hesitated, then nodded. "I'll work with the marketing, really learning instead of just showing off. I want to do it right this time." I looked at them carefully. Their pride was bruised, but their eyes held honesty. Grandpa had always said people could change if given the chance. "All right," I said, my voice firm. "You'll work under my guidance. No shortcuts. No excuses. Earn it." Anna smiled at me. "Looks like Grandpa's lessons are spreading already." I felt a sense of relief and purpose. The cousins weren't lost, they just needed direction. And now, Brian Jason was the one giving it. Grandpa's legacy was safe, and the vineyard had its first true guardians. Days passed quickly at the vineyard. Preston worked tirelessly in the fields, learning the rhythm of the vines instead of calculating profit. Mallory focused on marketing, but this time for the right reasons, promoting the vineyard's wine instead of herself. Anna and I organized the archives, turning Grandpa's notes into clear instructions for running the estate. Every task we completed made me feel closer to him, as if he were watching and approving from beyond. One evening, as the sun dipped behind the hills, I stood at the edge of the vineyard, looking at the rows of grapes glowing in the golden light. Anna joined me. "Brian," she said softly, "you've changed everything here. Grandpa would be proud." I nodded, feeling a mixture of pride and responsibility. It's not just about the vineyard. It's about what it represents: trust, patience, and purpose. Anna smiled. "And you've shown everyone that those things matter more than money or power." I looked over at Preston and Mallory, working together for the first time, their laughter echoing through the vineyard. Grandpa's game had been long and challenging, but the real victory wasn't the secrets or the puzzles. It was building something real. For the first time, I felt truly at home. This was the inheritance Grandpa intended. Weeks turned into months, and the vineyard began to thrive. Every morning, I walked among the rows of grapes, checking the soil, counting the leaves, and feeling the life that Grandpa had nurtured for decades. Preston and Mallory had changed too. They no longer complained or raced to the nearest luxury store. Instead, they learned to care about the work, the land, and the people who made it all possible. Anna watched me one evening as I poured wine from one of the new barrels. "You've grown into the kind of person Grandpa always knew you could be," she said. I smiled, thinking of the plane ticket, the journal, the hidden vault, and the puzzles that had led me here. Everything had seemed impossible at first, but each step taught me something important. Patience, observation, and trust are far more valuable than money. I raised a glass to the sunset, imagining Grandpa's face smiling at me. "Thank you," I whispered, "not just for the vineyard, but for teaching me how to see what truly matters." The cousins, Anna, and I worked together, building a legacy rooted in truth, purpose, and family. Brian Jason finally understood. The smallest gifts, when followed carefully, could change a life forever. Grandpa's game was over. I had truly won. The vineyard buzzed with life. Birds chirped in the olive trees, the grapes glistened in the morning sun, and the scent of earth and growth filled the air. I stood at the top of the hill, looking over everything Grandpa had built. Anna was checking the new wine barrels, Preston was organizing shipments, and Mallory was creating labels for the first commercial release. I smiled. For the first time, I understood Grandpa's message. Wealth wasn't about money or power. It was about legacy, responsibility, and the choices we made. Anna walked up beside me. "Brian, the vineyard's history, you've brought it all back to life. Grandpa's spirit is everywhere here." I nodded, feeling the weight of trust and purpose. "And it's only the beginning. We'll continue his work, and maybe, one day, we'll pass it on to someone who truly understands it." Preston and Mallory joined us, no arrogance left in their eyes, only respect, gratitude, and determination. As the sun set over the vineyard, I realized something important. The real inheritance wasn't just Grandpa's secret wealth. It was the lessons, the trust, and the courage to follow them. Brian Jason had started with a plane ticket. He ended with a life worth living. The future was ours. And it had never looked brighter. If this story moved you, don't forget to like the video, subscribe for more powerful narratives, and share your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear what part hit you the hardest. Thanks for watching.